Question 1. Using a calculator or otherwise, calculate the exact value of the fractions as you can see them. Here, as we look at these three fractions, we realize that there are two signs that are separating them, which are the division sign and the subtraction sign. All right. However, what we're going to use to identify which sign we should go with first, we're going to be using the BOMDUS rule. BOMDUS meaning brackets of multiplication, division, addition, and subtraction. And as you can see, division comes before subtraction. So then and there, we know that we should divide first. All right. So we're going to divide 1 and 4 over 7 and 2 over 3. So first, we're going to change 1 and 4 over 7 into an improper fraction, and we do so by multiplying the denominator by the whole number 1, and then afterwards we're going to add the numerator. So 7 times 1, which gives us 7, plus 4, which gives us 11. So we'll have 11 over 7 divided by 2 over 3. So what we'll do here now is to change the division sign into a multiplication. So we're going to keep, flip, and switch. So we're going to keep our first fraction, 11 over 7, change the division sign to multiplication, and flip the second fraction. So instead of 2 over 3, we will now have 3 over 2. All right. So now multiplication, 11 times 3 will give us 33. 7 times 2 gives us 14. All right. So now we can proceed with subtraction. All right. So to make things a little bit easier, we're going to also change this mixed number 1 and 5 over 7 to an improper fraction. And we will go do that by multiplying the denominator by the whole number 1 and then adding the numerator 5. So I'm just going to carry this up here. So 7 times 1, 7, plus 5, which gives us 12. So then we'll have 12 over 7. So before we can even subtract, we have to ensure that we have the same denominator. If we do not have the same denominator, we cannot subtract nor add. And here we are subtracting, so we have to find the lowest common multiple between the denominator, which would be 14. So 14 into itself would go one time, and that's how we get the denominator. And 7 times 2 gives us 14 also. So for our numerators, our 33 will stay the same because 14 times 1 gives us 14. 33 times 1 will give us 33. But then 7 times 2 gives us 14. So we also have to multiply the numerator 12 by 2 also. So 12 times 2 it gives us 24. then now we can subtract. So when we work this out, 33 take away 24 would be remaining with 9, and then our final answer would be 9 over 14. Very simple. So our next question, B. When Megan started working, she was paid $85 each week. After a 6-month probationary period, her pay was increased by 20%. How much was she paid each week after the increase? So now we're going to see how much is Megan now being paid after her well-deserved increase. So the increase is by 20% from what she was being paid, $85 per week. So now all we need to do, we could do this two ways. I'm going to show you 2 ways in which this can be done. We could calculate what is 20% of her initial pay, her pay that she was getting before the 6 months, and after which we could then add it to her pay, and then we'll get her new increase or new lump sum that she's now getting. So let's go ahead. So we will find 20% by writing 20. Oh, let me get the pen. 20 over 100 multiplied by $85. All right. So we do some canceling. So 5 into 85 will then gives us 17. If you want to check, we could use a calculator just to ensure that we are on the right track. So 20 divided by 100 gives us 0.2 multiplied by 85, which gives us 17. So yes, we're indeed on the right track. So this is her increase. So all we need to do now is then add 17 to 85, which would then give us, let's just use a calculator to just save on time, 102. All right. So this is her new pay after the increase. So this is one way of doing it. However, if you think about it, if her initial pay, $85, if you look at it as a percentage, you could say that is 100% of what she's been paid. But then there's an increase of 20%. So you could then rewrite that 100% as 120. And then using that percentage, a 120%, you could write 120 over 100 and then multiply it by 85. All right. So if we go ahead and we're canceling 0 into 0. 2 into 12 goes 6. 2 into 10 goes 5. 5 into 85 gives 17. 6 times 17. So let's use a calculator to save on time. Will then give us 102. All right. Sorry about my writing. Not used to this pen as yet. Let me just rewrite that a little bit. So $102. All right. So any two ways is perfectly acceptable. All right, let's move on. So C, we are now looking at question 1, C. In 1965, the population of country A was 2,714,000. In 2015, the population was 3,663,900. Our first task is to write the population in 2015 corrected to 3 significant figures. So first we need to identify which population is in 2015, which is the 3,663,900, and we're going to correct that to 3 significant figures. All right, 3 significant figures meaning 3 non-zero numbers. All right, so looking at 3,663,900, let me just rewrite it. Looking from left to right, we will be looking for our 3 significant figures, non-zero numbers. So 3 is a non-zero, 6 is also a non-zero, and 6, the next 6, which is our third significant figure, is also a non-zero. So those are our 3 significant figures. So what will then give us our final answer is to then look to the right digit from this, the third significant figure, which is 6, and check to see if it is less than 5 or more than 5 or 5. So is it less than 5 or 5 or more? So we have to do a little rounding, either to round up or to round down. And here we realize that it is less than 5, so we round down. So this 3 will then become a 0, and everything after it also zeros. So then our final answer will then be 3,660,000. All right, very simple. All right, so question B, which is part B of C that we're doing. Write the population in 1965 in standard form. So let's identify which number is being referred to in 1965. 2,714,000. So let's rewrite that so that we have access to it down below. All right, so the rules for standard form is that we have to write or rewrite this number as 2 factors. A factor being a decimal, and also a factor being a power of 10. All right, and in between these factors we're going to have a multiplication sign. So let's look at the decimal. So the parameters for how this decimal is going to be written is that this decimal has to be equal to 1 or more than 1, but it has to be less than 10. So let's call this number, or this decimal, the letter B. So this is the parameters that we are going to be using to write our new decimal. So it has to be equal to or more than 1, but less than 10. All right, so we're going to move the decimal until we reach to these parameters. So we are currently at 2,714,000, and we know that for whole numbers, our decimal point is at the end. So we're going to move this until we have a number that is in between our parameters. All right, so if we move the decimal between 2 and 7, our new number would then be 2.714. And looking at this, yes indeed, 2.714 is more than 1, but less than 10. So now we need to look at our power of 10 now. What should we write? So as you can see, we jumped numerous of times for our decimal, and we need to count exactly how many times we jumped. So let me just re-jump. All right, so the decimal point at the end, and we jumped 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we jumped a total of 6 times. So that means that our 10 is going to be at the power of 6. All right. So this is how we will write our standard form, our final answer, 2.714 multiplied by 10 to the power of 6. All right. So let's continue. Determine the percentage increase in the population from 1965 to 2015. All right. So to simply find this percentage increase, all we need to know is exactly how much is this increase. So all we need to do first is to take away our population in 2015 and the population in 1965. So basically we're going to have 3 million, let me get my pen out, 3,663,900 take away 2,714,000. All right, I have to put this into the calculator. We'll get 949,900. All right, so that is our increase. So how we are going to find the percentage of what this increase entails is by putting this same amount, 949,900, over our original population. So we're going to have 949,900 over our original population of 2,714,000, and then we're going to multiply it by 100%. All right, so using the calculator just to save on time, we already have our 949,000 4,900 in our calculator, so we're just going to simply divide it by 2,714,000, which gives us 0.35. Then we're going to multiply by 100, which will then give us our final answer of 35%. All right, very simple. Part D. The ratio of teachers to male students to female students in a school is 3 to 17 to 18. If the total number of students in the school is 630, determine the number of teachers in the school. So let's rewrite that ratio. However, please note that the total that they have given us is not the total for teachers and both students. The total is only for the number of students, meaning the ratio 17 and 18 is total up to 630 students. So to find the number of teachers, what we'd simply do is add 17 plus 18, which would give us 35, and we then divide 35 into that total 630. Let's use a calculator to just save some time, which would then give us 18. All right, so this number 18 is actually a simplified version of 17 and 18 of what number we should multiply our ratio by to find the teachers. So the ratio for teachers is 3, and multiplying it by 18 would give us the number of teachers. So then our final answer would be 54 teachers. All right, very simple.